Around the world, cyber citadels are crumbling. Ukraine, Romania, Poland, Kuwait, South Korea. Hackers are being rounded up. Online too, Western intelligence services are hacking back, taking criminals offline, and even retrieving some of their stolen riches. But there's one place where hackers are not being arrested.
Cash-rich, fast cars, behaving and acting like very flamboyant and extravagant millionaires.
I'm on the trail of the most wanted suspected hackers in the world. The US alleged the gang are hacking money from private bank accounts and launching ransomware attacks which have cost more than $100 million. Здравствуйте, hello. I'm looking for Maxim Yakubets. I'm from the BBC.
Вы сегодня объявили его преступником. На каком основании? Где доказательства его преступления? Их нет.
More Russians have been sanctioned and indicted for hacking than any other country. 27 Russians appear on the US Cyber Most Wanted list. If they leave the country, they'll probably be arrested. But here in Russia, they're safe. Most of these men are said to have links to or work directly for the intelligence services. But there are some who are accused of being flat-out cyber criminals, and instead of hiding here, they're living large, extravagant lifestyles. We're here to try and find them and talk to them. And we want to know whether this increasing Western tactic of naming and shaming hackers is having an impact.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. We're here today to identify and announce charges against a Russian national whom the Department of Justice alleges is responsible for two of the worst computer hacking and bank fraud schemes of the past decade. Yakubets is a true 21st century criminal who, with the stroke of a key and the click of a mouse, committed cyber crimes across the globe. He's earned his place on the FBI's list of the world's most wanted cyber criminals.
With a $5 million bounty for his arrest, Maxim Yakubets is the most wanted alleged hacker in the world. US and UK authorities say his hacker gang, Evil Corps, have stolen or extorted more than $100 million from victims around the world. Companies, charities, even schools have been attacked. Evil Corps.
Who has this Mercedes?
Andrei Zakharov is BBC Russia's cyber reporter. He's been working with me for months to try and trace these alleged hackers. What have you learned about Yakubets?
Well, we have two addresses, not owned by him, but he was registered in one of this apartment. We know where he officially worked for some time. It is his mother's company. He has very good cars also, and no business.
He doesn't have any registered businesses?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I wanted to show you something I found. This is his wedding video. So this is the wedding venue. They got married at a golf course.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
Yes, so this was here. So all of that there, just on the grass.
Yes.
The golf course where the wedding took place is about 2 hours' drive outside of Moscow. Staff were happy to show us around, but didn't want to go into specifics about Yakubets' big day.
Во-первых, наверное, это какая-то модная и нестандартная тенденция. Плюс это масштабы, это природа, это чистый воздух. В 300 гектар земли у нас 150 гектар занимают гольф-поля. Номер для молодоженов, номер Грот Вилла Ричард, скажем, нашей фишкой, нашим каким-то эксклюзивным номером.
Wow, impressive. So this is where the newlyweds sit,
Yeah.
have some champagne.
Yes. В которые у нас как раз и стремятся попасть для проведения фотосессии, для какого-то романтика молодоженов. Это, конечно, есть определенный ценник, да, ниже которого мы не можем упасть, есть определенные там рамки, но, в общем-то, это, скажем, доступно для тех, кто действительно хочет сыграть шикарную, красивую свадьбу.
This wedding is probably the most famous wedding in the history of cybersecurity. People have pored over that video since it was posted online, and it feels strange being here where it actually took place. A lot of people, including the newspapers, said that wedding probably cost about $250,000. But I've just discovered it could have cost at least $500,000, and that's just to have it here. We don't know how the wedding was paid for, but if the money did come from Jakubets, it gives us an insight into how some of his alleged stolen riches are being spent here in Russia. With emails and phone calls unanswered, it was time to try the Moscow addresses he's registered to.
Here it is.
There we go. Здравствуйте. Hello. Is Maxim Jakubets there?
No.
As soon as I said
Okay.
Maxim Jakubets, she hung up.
I think he. Go ahead. I think you.
All right. Здравствуйте. Hello. I'm looking for Maxim Jakubets. I'm from the BBC.
Но нет здесь Максима Якубца вообще. Здесь его нет, наверное, лет 15.
А как с ним можно связаться? Мы не можем никак с ним связаться.
Сейчас, секундочку.
Вы сегодня объявили его преступником. На каком основании? Где доказательства его преступления? Их нет.
Maxim's father tells us that the $5 million US reward for his son's arrest has led them to live in fear of attack from criminals looking to cash in. How do you think your son has become so rich?
А кто сказал, что он богат?
Lamborghini.
Дальше это берется в аренду. Ну, во-первых, мы уже...
How did he afford the $600,000 wedding?
В клубе.
Сколько? Во-первых, это слегонца преувеличено.
No, it's too much.
Документ!
Okay.
Документ посмотреть.
I haven't got the
Это
document.
на период преувеличено.
So you're telling me that your son is not a criminal and he's not rich?
Он он выше среднего, потому что он зарабатывает денег. У меня есть работа. Мы можем себе что-то позволить. А когда вы говорите Lamborghini, пожалуйста, предоставьте документ, где написано, что он принадлежит Якубец Максиму.
What is his line of work?
А кем
What
работает?
does he
За что
do?
тогда? Чем он занимается? Что нет?
А зачем это я вам буду рассказывать, чтобы вы говорили, и дальше его еще и по другой профессии
What's
преследовать?
the use of telling it? Because if you
Есть моя частная жизнь.
Is that Maxim?
Ну, мама.
You seem very upset by the US and the UK's accusations.
Меня это огорчает, к сожалению. Меня огорчает, потому что я считал Америку большой страной. Она превратилась в очень плохую страну. Страна, которая не отвечает за свои действия и за свои слова. И не ищет истину, а ищет виноватых в том или ином деянии. Крайнего.
We asked if we could speak to Maxim, but his father claims he doesn't have any contact with him.
К сожалению.
Спасибо большое вам.
Спасибо.
До свидания. How was that?
Wow.
Maxim Jakubets and Igor Turashev have spent the last decade infecting computers worldwide with the Bugad.
The US and UK claim to have strong enough evidence to convict Jakubets. It includes direct testimony from former gang members, cyber forensics data, and even communications from Jakubets' personal email and Skype account. Their cases date back so far, it includes evidence obtained by the Russian police in 2010, when they were still open to helping the US investigate. The 2019 announcement named other Russian men allegedly from Evil Corps. As well as confining them to Russian territories, these cyber sanctions mean they're banned from doing business with Western firms and have any Western assets frozen. The US has sanctioned dozens of Russians, nearly all are accused of working directly for the Kremlin. And it's not just the US. Last year, the European Union started to issue its first cyber sanctions. Once again, it's mostly Russians. The Kremlin calls the allegations a diabolical cocktail and rich fantasy. For everyday Russians, the sanctions are so regular now that they're largely ignored. But for cybersecurity professionals in Russia, they provoke anger. Alexandra Antipina is a professional, ethical, or white hat hacker. When she's not at a computer, her second love is motorbikes.
Первое время я считала то, что информационная безопасность может приносить адреналин, но на самом деле оказалось, что это больше стрессовое занятие, потому что тут все-таки есть ответственность. Когда ты едешь, ты можешь разбиться, но это будет твоя вина, а если ты совершишь ошибку в безопасности, то пострадают и остальные люди.
Like many hackers I've met, Alexandra says she first got into it through playing games.
Everybody.
They're all coming.
Yeah.
Now's our time to attack.
Если мне хочется сказать white hat hacker про себя, то я не скажу так, потому что слово хакер это уже очень негативное для нас слово. Это, в частности, для меня. То есть это какая-то ассоциация с какими-то преступниками, поэтому, конечно...
How do you feel about the stereotype of the Russian hacker?
Конечно, это обидно. Почему нету каких-то других хакеров из других стран, почему именно из нашей? Меня окружают специалисты по безопасности, люди с образованием, люди, которые занимаются полезным делом.
The highly anticipated summit between US President Joe Biden and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin is getting underway in Geneva.
Cybercrime was a major talking point at Biden and Putin's Geneva summit. President Biden brought up the recent ransomware attack on an oil pipeline that caused fuel shortages in the US.
Responsible countries need to take action against criminals who conduct ransomware activities on their territory.
The talks have yet to bear significant fruit. Lilia Yaparova is an investigative reporter for an independent Russian news site.
Maxim Yakubets, he's basically son-in-law of a powerful ex-FSB officer. The FSB started recruiting Maxim Yakubets.
And how did you know that then?
And we know that from the documents of the American government. Maxim Yakubets and all his guys from the Evil Corp hacking group were announced like enemies of the state. One of my sources, ex-FSB officer, told me that he personally tried to enlist Yakubets. It's actually usual practice in Russia. It's more valuable for the FSB to enlist hackers in Russia than to put them in jail.
The lifestyle of Yakubets' alleged right-hand man is another telling sign that Russia is unwilling to act on US accusations.
Igor Turashev, also known as Enki or Nintutu, is a close associate of Yakubets and serves as the system administrator.
We found businesses run by Turashev in a prestigious building in Moscow's financial district. So this is where 3 businesses are registered. The building receptionist said there were no active internal lines for the offices, so she found a mobile number for Turashev's company. After a long wait, someone picked up.
Здравствуйте. Hello, I'm looking to find Igor Turashev.
А вы откуда?
Мы журналисты BBC.
Что у вас за журналистика?
Мы хотели поговорить с Игорем Олеговичем.
So that was interesting. That was actually someone who works with Turashev.
Yeah.
I find it amazing that he is here. And this is where lots of legitimate businesses are.
I mean, they have offices here, but they have very good cars, good life in Moscow. Yeah, they're not hiding at all.
We travelled 700 kilometres east to Turashev's childhood town of Yoshkar-Ola to track him down. Local reporter Dmitry Lyubov covered the story when Turashev was accused of being a major international cybercriminal.
Я общался с его преподавателем, который пожелал остаться неизвестным. Удивлен, да, и в определенной степени и шокирован. Он говорил о том, что эта история, она отрицательно сказывается на имидже IT-компании Йошкар-Олы, поскольку в основном местные средства массовой информации, они упоминали, значит, то, что это йошкар-олинец, что он разыскивается ФБР за, значит, некие киберпреступления. Ну, наверное, такой громкой, как могла бы быть, она не стала.
Despite being a seemingly legitimate businessman then, Turashev was proving elusive. We deliberately didn't try to contact people facing sanctions who are thought to work for the Russian intelligence services. All nations hack each other, but some allegations against Russian state hackers are extreme, from electricity blackouts to attacks causing billions of dollars of damage globally. The Russian government has denied all accusations, routinely laughing them off as Western hysteria and Russophobia.
As for these grey-haired generals, sanctioning them, it's like a reward.
Is it a badge of honour?
Yeah, badge of honour, yeah.
Even if they've been caught?
Caught in what?
Well,
for you it's cybercrimes. For them it's intelligence gathering against the enemy of Russian government, of Russian state.
And it's not just individuals who are being accused of hacking for the Russian state. Entire institutions and even private companies have been sanctioned too. How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I like your view. Denis Baranov is the new CEO of Positive Technologies. Denis says he was just as shocked as the rest of the cybersecurity world when President Biden accused his well-respected company of hacking for Russia in April. The sanctions forced him to postpone a long-awaited IPO. It's also cut the company off from access to many Western partnerships and technology. Is this a punch bag, Denis?
Yes.
On the day of the sanctions, did you come and punch this?
No, I didn't, because it's not my way of working with stress.
The wording of the accusation is that Positive Technologies has worked to support the Russian intelligence services' efforts to carry out malicious cyber activities against the US. What do you say to that accusation? Is that something that you have done?
С учетом того, что мы вендор, мы одинаково относимся вообще ко всем нашим покупателям. То есть коммерческие компании покупают наши средства защиты, Министерство обороны покупает наши средства защиты. Вот что важно заметить, все программы и продукты, которые мы производим, не могут использоваться как средства двойного назначения.
By double purposes, do you mean you don't allow your products to be used in offensive ways?
Да, наши продукты разработаны исключительно как средство защиты или как средство аудита.
Игра началась.
The Biden administration has also criticised the company's annual hacking conference, where hackers are invited to attack a mock city. The US claims that the event is being used as a recruitment tool for the Russian intelligence services. Is that an ATM?
Yes, it's
like
ATM, yes. Yes. We take this ATM, put it on our Positive Hack Days conference and ask the community, okay guys, there is some money inside it, so come and get it.
And did someone manage to get the money?
Yes, and every year, and we send that vulnerabilities to the vendors too, and they're fixed.
Anatoly Kovalev, Pavel Yershov, Dmitry Badin, Dmitry Dokuchayev, all these people came along to your Positive Hack Days, and the accusation is they were here to recruit the next crop of Russian hackers to the military. Is that true?
Positive Hack Days — это крупнейшая международная конференция по информационной безопасности, которая проводится в России.
Next year, when you do the next Positive Hack Day, will these people be invited again, or will you start to vet who comes along?
Как я и сказал, мы не приглашаем и не приглашали этих людей, мы приглашаем всех. И кто угодно может купить билет, как на любую открытую конференцию. But buy a ticket, please. First, buy a ticket and come get it.
Alexandra has competed herself at many Positive Hack Days. She says they're a normal and enjoyable conference.
допустим, в 6 часов вечера, либо мы расписываем график 72 часа. Сама конференция обычно нами ожидаема.
Positive Technologies isn't the first Russian cybersecurity company to be accused of getting too close to the Kremlin. And whilst we were in Moscow, a breaking news event showed what can happen if a Russian cybersecurity firm gets on the wrong side of the Kremlin.
The founder of Group IB was arrested for treason. He faces up to 20 years in prison. We're going to go there now and see what we can find out.
Police raided the offices of Group IB overnight. Officers even broke into one room to apparently access company servers.
It looks like a complete mirror image of what's happened to Positive Technologies. They are being accused by the West of working for the Russian government in hacking, and now it seems like Group IB are being accused by the Russian government of working for the West. It's very hard to be a cybersecurity company in this country.
Group IB says it's innocent, and there are few details about what Ilya Sashkov is accused of. Many have pointed to a speech the outspoken founder made, which publicly criticised Russian authorities for not arresting alleged cybercriminals like Yakubets.
Когда весь мир говорит о том, что господин Максим Якубец, хакер, который в Москве рассекает на Ламборджини с номерами вор, ни один российский государственный орган, ни полиция, ни Федеральная служба безопасности, ни МИД просто на это никак не отвечают. Максим остается в Москве, продолжает кататься на своем шикарном автомобиле, и поверьте, это влияет на имидж российских компаний, которые занимаются экспортом информационной безопасности.
Before I left Russia, Andrei and I wanted to try one last address, an apartment in a luxury part of town.
That's strange.
A neighbour recognised Turashev's picture, but clearly, if he was there, he wasn't interested in talking.
I think we've got as close to these people as we're going to get. They know we're here. They know we want to talk, but they don't want to talk. And I did want to speak to them. I wanted to find out their side of the story. And it's been a strange process. It's been almost uncomfortable and intrusive. We've been going to their houses, to their businesses. But I have to remind myself that this is what they've been doing, allegedly. For years, they've been breaking into the private networks and computers of companies and individuals, and that's how they've allegedly made their fortunes.